A woman stalked for years, her life threatened, her social media accounts hacked, all to the point where she was forced to move.
And he would never stop. He would tell me that I'll stop when I want to stop, and there's nothing that you can do about it.
Melanie Mills Johnson fought back, but not without a lot of emotional pain and suffering.
Eyewitness News anchor Blaine Tollison dug into North Carolina's stalking laws and learned why they're making it hard for victims to get help.
It's a lot.
Melanie Mills Johnson keeps a file hundreds of pages thick. She documented years of harassment from an ex-boyfriend after they broke up. She says he threatened to kill her.
These are emails.
Tried to hack her Facebook and Instagram accounts.
This is a Facebook conversation.
Taunted her on social media and wrote to her friends using fake profiles to embarrass her.
He wanted to have total control over my life and my mind.
That's not even half of it. Afraid for her safety, Melanie eventually uprooted her family from their Steel Creek home. She says every step of the way from getting a protection order to a misdemeanor stalking conviction was a battle.
I knew that I had to make my story public and tell my friends and family what was going on because he was trying to destroy me.
And what they find when they get to court in the criminal justice system is a system that's not really set up.
Sherry Honeycutt represents stalking victims and works with the North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence. She's trying to help change stalking laws she says are outdated in large part because of social media.
We don't have laws that are really equipped to prosecute stalking cases on the basis of online social media speech. And I think that that's really unfortunate.
That proved true in the case of Brady Shackelford. After serving time in Virginia for stalking, he was convicted here in Charlotte of stalking a woman he met once in 2015 at Myers Park United Methodist Church. Court documents included public posts from Shackelford on Google Plus about the woman he said God chose to be his soulmate. In several posts, he referred to her as his future wife. Shackelford was sentenced to prison for felony stalking. But this past March, North Carolina's Court of Appeals ruled his conviction violated his constitutional right to free speech. Exactly 2 months and 5 days after his release from prison, he was arrested again, accused of stalking his neighbor in West Charlotte. I questioned him about it last month after his court appearance in the case.
I will not speak of it.
Shackelford's appeal is now being closely watched by legal scholars.
It's a lot easier to regulate one-to-one communication. So
UNC Chapel Hill law professor Shay Denning, who actually wrote about Shackelford's case, says it could affect future stalking prosecutions.
to the extent you are regulating speech and speech alone, that is always going to be an uphill battle.
Denning says to prevent constitutional challenges, stalking laws need to be updated.
The First Amendment is an important protection for all of us, just as the right to be free from harassment is an important protection.
In Melanie's case, none of the evidence she collected was ever used in a trial. Her stalker took a plea deal.
Do you think the law worked in this case?
No.
She believes until the law changes, victims are left fighting on their own.
Keep fighting. Don't be embarrassed, because that's when you become victim, is when you're scared to tell your story.
In Charlotte, Blaine Tollison, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Well, these people.
In April, an amendment to the stalking law, House Bill 558, did not make the deadline for a vote in the General Assembly. Victims advocates say they are concerned that the language in the bill is just too broad and that leaves victims unprotected. Advocates are working with the sponsor of the bill to come up with some changes, and that bill is now in a House committee. And if you or someone you know is a victim of stalking, we want to try to help. We've posted links to resources inside this story on our WSOC app.